That's why our summit stands under this umbrella of amazing trio of climate, AI, and humanity, and under the umbrella of emergency, that everyone needs to know that now it's time to act, not in a doomed way, but in a collective way. And I truly believe that we as humans, we can connect at a global level. We can give a good role modeling and an example to the future generations, because they are on my heart and mind all the time, every second.
As role models for future generations, we're building a world where wisdom and consciousness rise, harmonizing life with nature and all species. Join us. Together, let's create a balanced, sustainable future for all.
We wanted to be super snazzy for you and bring out our animal spirits or virtual spirits or avatars.
We were just thinking today that, okay, if it's the big reveal, this is the title, how about we just play some avatars and one by one we can reveal each other in a very funny way, because yeah, it's these virtual meetings, they can always have some fun element and you can find plays, but sometimes they don't work. So let's just spread things up this way. Welcome everyone, and welcome to our family. We are super, super excited to have you here with us. As you can see, my cutie face, I might not even change it. Could I go this way in my meetings? I'm thinking, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like you.
it looks like
Top
me.
down, you're like, no, don't do it.
Okay. Yeah. And for sure, Carlos would say the same thing. All right. Yeah. And we will reveal ourselves, of course, but what we wanted to do today, to talk about ourselves the way we are, to answer questions, and just show you what type of people are battling this amazing mission day by day. Today we have daily meetings, and we have daily gatherings about how to speed up things, because we are preparing the summit, and the summit occupies all of our time. But what we want to achieve, and also to make sure that people understand, is that we are under the umbrella of emergency and we cannot wait too long for some things to happen. And we need to give a sign to practice what we preach, basically. And if we are saying that, hey, there are things we need to align and do, let's just do them without prevail, because we could have an perfectly arranged everything like summit maybe next year. Some companies are waiting to prepare things like this, or for any other action. But we want to just act on what is urgent today, showing that it's time to do that.
That is the nature of our lives going forward, right? We have all of this great technology, but sometimes it doesn't go exactly as you plan.
Yeah, and also I noticed that as soon as the adoption rate is increasing and you are starting to using more and more the internet, now the companies need to speed up to also provide the necessary updates in time and to have the infrastructure ready. So this is another issue we could talk about for days, because it's very noticeable. LinkedIn goes through a lot of errors lately, and it keeps happening. Zoom is going through lots of errors, and every other big supplier of internet, it's having issues. I like to see the smiles on the faces who see our avatars for today for the big reveal. Welcome everyone. For those who are here for the first time, for our regular people, for our core team, and everyone else. And so, what do you think? Should we take off our avatars? Yeah. Who vote with the hearts? Yeah. Everyone who wants us to remove the avatars. Or if you want to see me this way, I can keep it. It's much easier. Yeah. you don't see any wrinkle, you don't see any kind of face that it was not intention, you don't see any kind of background movements or a cat jumping from the sky or anything.
I can drink my coffee and no one sees it. It's amazing.
Exactly, exactly.
I don't even know how to
Hey,
remove
Tasha,
those.
great to see you. And you can have an avatar. Anyone can have an avatar.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, do I have to make it though, Carlos? Because I'm gonna be honest, that's not gonna happen if I have to make it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's why I had to go with the glasses. That's it. You got to do what we can do.
Yeah,
all right,
okay.
Cristina. Well, you revealed. Tell us about yourself, who you are, why you're here, and why did you start Tech Leadership Lab?
Thank you, Carlos, for helping me out. Yeah, I'm Cristina Imre, impacting the world from Romania, working remotely for over 15 years also as a remote expert. I'm actually highlighted as a virtual expert inside the National University of San Diego, the CAVO aspect of virtual expertise. And that tells you that I had all kinds of options in the past to work or relocate. And yes, I lived in other places as well. But I always chose in a way because it's about revealing ourselves, the true selves and who we are. I didn't choose the easy options in my life. And this was almost always the case. It's not that I am masochistic, although my actions many times proved exactly that. But I had that kind of internal desire and need that, okay, if you get to have success too quickly and too early without having the knowledge to what to do with it, basically, and have that kind of wisdom that comes with years, then you could get lost in transaction because I studied human beings for an early age. It was based on my experience as a child or of childhood, where I needed to be very aware of people and the signs and threats. And so that just opened up a universe for me that human nature is so complex and we are unstable and we are superficial many times. And you just need to take care of yourself and learn very fast if you want to be safe. And starting from that moment, I also noticed all kinds of behavior and different kind of personalities and people around me first, of course, as a child, and growing as a teenager and forward, reading a lot of books as a bookie and a geek in reading. I noticed that there are multiple personalities in each and every one of us, but I also noticed success. I started to read about it, to see different people who got to it and had or everything on a silver plate, or maybe their family was very rich. And I noticed that when you don't find a meaning and purpose in life because you're not a little bit in struggle, or you are not pushed enough, or you just get things for granted too early in life, you get lost and very unhappy very easily and very quickly. And for that reason, my journey started in a way that, okay, I will pursue knowledge. Nothing else, just knowledge. It was like an obsessive compulsive behavior. And for 2+ decades, it was my journey. And when I started to work remotely because I also traveled a lot, but I loved the independence. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a true-born entrepreneur type. And I like the independence and to know exactly and lead the way and have that kind of independence, liberty about doing things my way when I can. And this helped me a lot to also just understand humans. And so how I got here, what's this, Alex Dodd? Okay, we are requesting allow. Okay, is this something for your, for the AI companion? Yeah, so if you allow the AI companion, it just appeared on my screen and I don't want to create confusion during our live. It's something that you can then ask inside the chat, inside the AI companion, anything that happened during the live or during the event, and you will be you will receive anything. If you put your name inside the AI companion, it will tell you if your name was pronounced or anyone talked about you during the event. So it's a pretty cool tool, actually. And so
Okay.
for 2 decades, I I was in the trenches understanding human nature and success combined, also from multiple perspectives, starting with medical school, then studying psychiatry, psychology, cognitive sciences, anthropology, evolutionary science, behavioral economics, and also complementary therapies, including astrology, feng shui, so spirituality included, all the aspects, yoga, meditation, breathing, holotropic respiration, and the list just goes on. I forget this kind of things. And also the other half of mine, the entrepreneurial business half, that was on as a serial entrepreneur, founder, co-founder in different functions, from CEO, COO, and then fractional executive for multiple businesses, over 20 industries in multiple functions, from startups, SMBs, and corporate, including training, coaching, leadership level around the world. So tough 20 plus years, but that was my kind of crazy polymath-ish style to truly understand humanity as a whole, because I'm thinking globally. I'm not thinking here, Romania, Timișoara, my city. I'm not thinking even the region, Europe. I'm thinking globally, and that's why I worked in so many areas with how many people I just knew, and that's why TLL is also about no age, no location, no gender, no sexual orientation. It doesn't matter, because it matters that we are in this together, we are united, and if we want to tackle all the SDGs today, the sustainable goals, according to the UN, the 17 ones, for those who don't know, we truly need to connect and let the differences behind us, let the things that separate us behind us, even if we acknowledge that your ethnicity and your background and your rituals and your ancestry has some specific, unique meanings. We are still human, and our differentiator is not much, like 99.9, we are the same, and genetically. And so we can accomplish this kind of unity if we want to save humanity, not the earth. The earth goes on, but us as humans, not so much, if we don't tackle what's happening. And why the first summit is focused on climate, AI, and humanity is because these three pillars are around all the 17 SDGs. No matter what we would want to tackle, if we have issues with climate, we have issues. If we don't integrate AI as a tool to solve all the SDGs, we will store too long and things will be delayed. And if we don't preserve and amplify and bring our humanity at the next level of human collective wisdom, then we won't have an amazing future. So that's why our summit stands under this umbrella of amazing trio of climate, AI, and humanity, and under the umbrella of emergency, that everyone needs to know that now it's time to act, not in a doomed way, but in a collective way. And I truly believe that we as humans, we can connect at a global level. We can give a good role modeling and an example to the future generations, because they are on my heart and mind all the time, every second, because we cannot let them so many existential problems that they are facing right now. It's just something that they shouldn't need to bear with. And so for that reason, I truly believe we can align, and with technology and all the resources and all the solutions that are out there, if we connect each other to the grid and our solutions, we can go green and zero, net zero, very much faster, and bring those temperature projections back to where they should be without being doomed in a couple of decades. Yeah, and that's my truth. If you have questions, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as you can tell, Christina's definitely passionate about this. So next, we're going to go in order of like people who joined TLL first, and obviously Cristina was the founder. Driss, you've been with TLL for quite some time. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to TLL, and what you're working on.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. So yeah, so I will start by saying that I really believe that nothing is random in the universe. So just think about all the things that should be aligned so we can meet each other. Me, Carlos, Cristina. So just one thing, LinkedIn should be invented, should grow, and should succeed. so we can get inside LinkedIn and we will meet and we will interact and we will start and we'll join, of course, Cristina for TLL. So for me personally, it's not a random things. It's meant to be. And if you just listen to the story or to the life of Cristina, you will quickly understand that it's not like all the things that happened to Cristina lead to this instant and to being to the fact that TLL was started this day, this moment, and we'll get each. I mean, we'll meet each other. So yeah, so it's for me, it's destiny, and also another thing which on which we believe wholeheartedly inside TLL, that it's about community and humanity. And for me personally, humanity and community, it's all about the heart. Okay. Okay. Technology is very important. It can accelerate things. It can help us a lot, but everything it's about the heart. If we purify our hearts, I think we can accomplish miracles. So this is what I have to do in this. Yeah.
Not so fast.
And that
Also,
kind of brings
Carlos, we need also to accomplish every one of us to say what are our roles inside TLL for people to know, because they are curious, and just presume that people don't know much about what we are doing.
right.
So present yourself
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
also
tee
your
'em up.
background.
Yeah, so my name is Driss, so I am from Morocco. My education background is agriculture engineering, and after that, around 20 years, I was working mainly marketing and sales, so around the world, starting by Middle East, then Africa. And the last years, I was really focused on the concept of community and how to create like deep and meaningful connections, mainly virtually and especially on LinkedIn. So yeah, so this is where I met Cristina, and I met Carlos, Layla, and everybody. So I believe wholeheartedly on creating meaningful connections in business or otherwise. So yeah, so this is my main focus, passion, and expertise. Yeah,
And he's our community manager.
yeah.
Danielle, I think you were here before Layla and I. Let's see the reveal, sir. You're muted. I see your lips moving.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I have to do some things.
Yeah, we have two microphones from Daniela's told you today he had some technical difficulties, so we can mute. No, I just see you once. Okay, until you solve that, we can go to beautiful Layla.
Okay, so let me take my glasses off, and there's the reveal. I'm still wearing glasses.
Yay.
Can't see diddly squat without these nowadays, so I'm gonna rock with them. But my name is Layla Hecker. I am the CIO of TLL. I am a veteran of the US Navy. I am actually a fourth generation veteran. What brought me to TLL, me in particular, is I would say since August of last year, once I first became introduced to the concept of exponential organizations and MTPs, right? I learned about moonshots. I learned about taking massive action and what you can do, what people can do if they got together and all had really, really huge goals. Like, what could we accomplish for the world, right? And because of that, I have been looking for places to put my energy that I feel I can make a difference, and TLL is one of those places. The concept that Cristina came up with is so huge on one level, right? The idea of tackling things that the UN has been trying to do for many years with some success, but not huge success, not the kind of success we would have hoped for. Because 20 years ago, when we first started hearing about these things, we would have thought that, oh, we would kind of have it all together by now. And we found out that by allowing just leadership to be the people taking care of actions, that things don't necessarily happen in the way that you would have expected, right? You realize that you as the individual have things that you need to do to help the scenario get solved, to help there be a solution that works for everyone. So because of that, I decided that I wanted to join TLL so that I could be a part of the solution. And I know many of you guys who are here today are also people who want to be a part of the solution by offering your unique skill set, your unique perspective, your unique mindset to bring about a change in the world, not just for one group or one person or one neighborhood or one family, but for everyone. We want to change the world for everyone. We want to make sure that we have done everything that is humanly possible, and now AI possible. Because that wasn't a thing when that saying first came out, right? So humanly possible and AI possible to help us solve these issues and solve them quickly. And we may not be able to fix every single solitary problem, but if we work together, we can make a huge, huge, huge dent and make it possible that we will be here as a humanity, as a species, as a world for hundreds of more years, instead of facing an extinction because we're damaging our planet, damaging our society, damaging our world. So that's me.
Absolutely wonderful. And I would love to add a couple of words to each and every one of our core members, especially because now it's Layla. Layla, it's absolutely a surprise. I mean, she's very modest. You don't know what she's doing in the background, but she is a polymath. Her mind is like absolutely wired to speed. She can read multiple books a day. Imagine how many books she read until now. There is no domain on this earth you cannot talk with Layla and with her expertise. And that's why her role as the Chief Information Officer is just like absolutely a perfect match. And as you could sense from her heart, TLL is full of heart. And that is absolutely crucial and important. We are here for conviction. And everyone needs to understand that there are not so many people who are aligned to do something for conviction without budget, without we all have alternatives to get rich doing other things, easier things. All of us. We are here now starting from scratch, something that we need to prove from something, to prove that we truly want to do this, and struggling on a daily basis to have some of them full-time jobs too, to bring this further. So this says a lot why we are here and that we truly care about humanity. And these are huge words, but and most of the population cannot take this, that there are people who think like this, but big leaders, amazing leaders, and also people like us, and in this room, because we are united because of a cause, they truly think globally, not just individually or family-like, and that makes us so interesting as a group, and so speedy and so active. And for Driss, because Driss was also before here, and I didn't have the time to interfere. He is our human-centric person. That's why he's also the community manager, and he takes on volunteers as well and guides people, because he's super passionate about connectivity, connection. He gets angry, really angry, when we don't want to just know each other, and I can sense that passion. He's his bitterness is on something very human-centric. His bitterness is not about gaining something for himself. His bitterness is if someone doesn't care about other people, if they don't want to know you at a personal level, if they don't want to create bonds with you, if they are not there for you when you need them and you being there for them. So I couldn't find a better person for the job than Driss. He's absolutely awesome, and he connects us all the time to our heart and our human needs on a daily basis. And now comes Carlos, our debater. I would love
I think Danielle is back.
is back. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Danielle.
And Danielle, you're back. And because it's Danielle and I want this to be live and I want to be a big surprise, we, the core team, want to surprise Danielle for something that will happen very, very, very important for him tomorrow. But today we are family and we want this to have it live for eternity for our grandkids if possible. So Danielle, very, very happy, full-hearted, happy birthday. And let us to just sing a little bit. Happy birthday
birthday
to
To
you.
you.
Happy
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 birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
Danielle.
Danielle.
Happy
Happy birthday to
birthday
you.
to
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Daniel. Feliz cumpleaños. Que los pase bien.
Feliz cumpleaños. Sí, we are very happy to have you with us. And I didn't want it to just wait one more day because it's so close to your birthday. It's just a couple of hours and we can celebrate and share the joy with you as part of our core team member. And I hope you truly love this surprise and looking forward to hear your words.
I was surprised, but anyway, my name is Daniel. I am from Colombia. I am a fighter pilot that loves to use, that loves to utilize, use, or change the patterns that we encounter every time we want to succeed. I studied in the Air Force School, Aviation Management. Also, I studied my master's degree at the U.S. Air Force Institute of Technology, Logistics Science. But these things doesn't show who am I. I really learned many things by flying, because when I was flying, I learned how to survive in different scenarios. And these things show me, teach me that being flexible, being adaptable, and being focused on what we have to do was the key to succeed in different scenarios. So based on that, I really believe that we all have many success stories that we have to raise and show the world, because based on that success stories, this is how we grow. And I really believe that we know how to solve the biggest problem we have right now with climate change. I normally used to make many comparisons, and a few hours ago when Driss published the article, I remember that when I was in 2020, we had the COVID-19, and many people what happened, what is happening. Some people didn't believe what the pandemic was really a real problem for the humanity. And when the problem arises, people start to say many things in different ways, many voices, but finally the world came together. Most of the world came together and solved the problem, and the way they faced that problem was telling the people that there are many people losing their life, and people was very aware, very, very scared because of that. And the world used the scarcity to show us that if we feel fear, we will be able to survive. And that was a good point for that particular moment, because everything happened just in 1 minute. And everything started to grow, and people start to lose their the ground, and many people doesn't understand what is going to be the future. But I learned during that particular time that when I was flying, it was similar. We have been facing many different things similar to what we have during COVID-19, and this is what I want to teach you and to give you today, because at that time we were not prepared to face that pandemic. We only start to believe that the pandemic was with us when the news start to show many bad news from different places in the world. And I believe today that this was the approach for that time, but today we have time, just a little time, but we can do something before the climate change attack us. We don't have to wait for something big catastrophe to try to solve the problem. We have to start right now. How? There are many success stories around the world. This is not the first one. We only have to learn from that and start to spread that information. And remembering what happened when the COVID-19 arrived, I took the decision that by taking care of myself first, I will be able to take care of the other people close to me. And also, doing that, I was able to see that if many people do the same, the COVID-19 will go away. So my invitation today is that we have to start believing in that we have the capability to solve the problem with climate change, but start with us. This solution start with us. So we have to learn first how is the real situation. If we cannot see that situation today, just ask. And this is what we are trying to do with TLL, just to inform the people the real situation. That will be the first day. What are the priorities we need to focus? The second day to talk about adaptability, because first we learn, second the first we have to learn, then we have to act, and then we have to adapt, because things maybe will be in the same way as we believe and as we plan, but sometimes things change, and we have to be flexible enough to recognize the changes. We have to be able to adapt to different situations, and we have to focus on the big picture we are waiting for. How is the future? How is going to be the future for us when we pass this climate change issue? And thank you for being with me, Cristina, Driss, and Carlos, and Layla, because I have learned many things from you and also from the community that is with us today. Because if we are able to teach or to express what we feel, this is the first step. And you were very support with me, and I'm happy because I'm doing this presentation in English. Finally, I decided I am going to do it, and you will be able to understand me. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. And I would want to know what is your wish for your birthday? What would you want to see in the world?
You know, before this meeting, I was walking around my apartment, and I was thinking that climate change is going to bring us abundance of money for everybody. Instead of counting the worst things that is happening around us, the people that has to move from their places, the money we are losing, the people that is dead because of that, we have to think and to show in a different way that by solving the climate change, we will have abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of education, abundance of energy, and many abundance around the world. This is my wish.
Very nice. And Daniel is our Chief Transformational Officer for obvious reasons. It's very interesting how he can combine expertise from real life scenarios where it's about life and death in a millisecond, let's say, and how you can adjust that into leadership and how you can connect the dots in order to elevate also leadership, but problem solve and find solutions where others don't. And yeah, with that said, we are going to Carlos Restrepo, our CXO, and a very, very unique individual like all of us, bringing something unique. But let's see how many things you will reveal from about yourself, Carlos.
Hi, everyone. My background is mostly focused on the nonprofit association space. So I come from what I call the middle sector. We have the for-profit on one end, and then we have the public sector on the other end. One is all about profit and distributing profit to a few. The other one is about doing good, but very inefficiently. The middle sector has always been about trying to do what's best with every penny it has, right? And so from my perspective, the idea of social enterprises, the idea of communities and decentralized autonomous organizations like DAOs and so forth, it kind of reminds me of some of the lessons I learned in the nonprofit space, where it's the community coming together for a greater purpose, a greater good. Having said that, I've also worked in the for-profit space a lot, where technology focused on how to deliver technology for nonprofits and associations in the not-for-profit space, and understood the idea that one, you can generate profit doing good, that you can also do it in a way where if you can create win-win-win situations, it actually feels good for the soul. So the whole idea of being able to work in a group where technology is not seen as a villain, where technology is not seen as an obstacle, but actually something that is part of trying to do something better and greater than the sum of its parts. I think that was pretty cool. And for me, that's what Tech Leadership Lab was all about, right? Tech for good, led by good hearts. And I've lived that space for 25 years. And so it just was a nice fit. I ended up meeting Cristina because of Web3. So, when I talk about communities and so forth, Web3 community is a very active community. And through that, I ended up at one of Cristina's events. We started talking at one point and we kind of connected on some of the concepts. And one of the things I've always appreciated about people is when you have these big, hairy, audacious goals, right? And you want to try to achieve something grand and amazing, but it's not easy. So how do you do it, right? How do you bring people together to do more? And that's kind of what I saw with Tech Leadership Lab. And I've been involved with several other LinkedIn groups. And they're all very nice communities and they have their purpose and they present information and it's great. But it's another thing to be involved in an area where you can actually try to do and make a difference in something as large as the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. And it's not just one goal like climate action. It's not, and it's not that we are trying to solve the problems. And I think that a lot of times individuals will find themselves overwhelmed by the idea of, well, how do I solve this problem? You don't have to solve all the problems, but if you can create a way for others to kind of be able to show off what they're doing, to amplify their voice, to amplify their impact, then you're doing something good. And from my perspective, that's what Tech Leadership Lab is about. Trying to do something good by not necessarily being the doers, but by activating and amplifying the doers. So with that is kind of what I kind of got involved in. My background is in account management, customer success, sustainable development, and sustainable growth is what I focus on. And it all comes from the idea of making sure that your customer base, but whatever that may be, is well treated, well rewarded, and you speak to them in a way that helps them see themselves in your product, in your service, in your offering, in your mission. And that's what I'm excited about with Tech Leadership Lab. And so hopefully we can get some more people activated. We can get some more people involved. And the summit is the first one. We are excited about the summit in case you haven't caught on to that. because we're trying to do it in a way that's different, in a way that activates people, in a way that empowers the event registrants, and in a way that creates impact post-event. So join us, check out what we're doing. It's all experimental, but you never know what might stick and what might work. And then if it works, some of you might be able to use it in your own communities. So thank you for joining us today.
To piggyback off of what Carlos said, right? As a tech leadership lab is a think tank, but we're focused on action. So how do we get people to move? We've all been to conferences, like all of us have been to conferences. Half of us don't even know what they said in the conference after the conference was over. Half of us, if you remember what they said, you don't know what to do with it, with the information that you learned. We want to not only present information, have people understand this, the problem that we're facing and have some ideas on how to fix it, but we also want people to be engaged in action. What can I do? What can you do? What can Susie do? What can Jason do? What can anybody, what can Shabna do? What can we do after this is over, after this conversation is over, to move the ball forward for everyone? And that is something that makes our conference, our summit different than other summits, because they don't tell you how to and what you can do in the interim or after the Monday after. They don't really give you the steps that you can take to help solve the problem, to be a part of that solution. We want to be the people who not only tell you about the problem, tell you about what's wrong, but also help you find ways that you can bring your voice, your skill set, your talents to the table to help solve it. How can you actively help move the ball forward after that, the summit ends, and every other day after that?
And that's why Layla will also be our spokesperson as soon as we are growing, and all the media will want to report about us and what we managed to do together collectively. And you can imagine why I feel so blessed to have so amazing people here, because I don't need to add anything. You just felt their conviction and how unique each individual is, and how truly they believe on what we are doing. And we are also a growing community. We have multiple groups. We have working groups, we have general group, we have volunteers, we have advisory board, and some of our amazing community members are part of our meeting today. Any one of you who would want to present and just share something why you are part of TLL, or what did you hear about us, or what do you like about what you heard today, or how would you want to contribute, or how do you see we could go on to the next level? Anything you want to share, please just raise your hand, because that's the best way we can move on. Martin, you are the first one. I am super happy to hear you in our event. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello. Well, I'm amazed from this group, because I thought I was alone. And you know, most people are committed to money when it comes to startup, not the impact it can make, you know. But I believe you can make money and do good at the same time, you know. I believe in better workplaces. I believe in strong company culture as the means to get there. And I believe in communities like this to empower each others. So I'm delightful to have found you guys, and I'm really looking forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you also, Martin, and being part of us all the time, and supporting our post, and truly understanding the importance of what we are doing. It is tough, I need to tell you, and I need to tell. I didn't have a free day since I started TLL. Free day meaning also weekends. I don't promote like workaholism. I am a workaholic, but a happy workaholic. I wouldn't say I'm too happy lately because I'm tired and I neglected personal things, family things. I'm not proud of that thing. And then also as a mother, you need to put in balance how many things you can sacrifice for the for the global good, and also have the perspective of the future. And some of us, the core team member, almost cried today talking about their conviction. I could cry now when I'm thinking about all the things I'm trying to do on a daily basis, and things just pile up because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to reach out, to talk with the people. I just want to talk. I have a wait list that is just like makes me anxious because I don't know when I will finish that. And because for the summit we want to provide, you need to know this, the most professional type of virtual global summit it can be. Starting from speaker quality, we don't compromise on speaker quality. For every panel, we have an idea about why certain people, certain skill sets and experts need to be to those panels. Some are busy, some needed to change their agendas because there are people who have agendas filled for 3+ months in advance. Then there are other people who just cannot join now because especially some people who have agendas for 2 years in advance that they might be planned for next summit, and have back and forth with hundreds of people in some days, and also managing duties and things. And it's not to ask for your sympathy, but it is hard. And in the meantime, to create an organization and a system without a budget, you don't even have the leverage. I pay you for this thing. No, you need to believe in the cause and what we are building here. And to do this on a daily basis with working up to 18 hours a day and just keep on going without falling down sick, because you sense that this is also a proof. People are waiting many times also, as Martin said, they just want to see, are you the real deal? Do I want to be associated with you now, not the next semester, next year, not next fiscal year or budgeting year for sponsorship or something to move the needle further. So you need to have this kind of little things at the beginning, and we are moving as a startup. Yes, everything is like exponential, also from exponential organizational framework, first principle thinking, tech startup-ish way of moving things further, but also thinking that the stake is much higher than any other startup if we just take one startup at a time with one solution, because we want to combine all solutions together. And I just want people to truly feel and understand that we want to make this fun. We don't want to depress people or make them anxious about the future, and in a way that they just draw back and they freeze and they don't do anything because it makes no sense. It's in vain. It's not the case. Every day on my journey to become a climate expert, just for this summit afterwards, the next SDG and next SDG, but I learned that there are the solutions out there. I became more optimistic. I might be very overworked and super tired, for sure, but I'm also very optimistic, as much as I can show you right now, because I can see that we have the solutions today and there is enough alignment. But there needs to be something like a TLL, someone who is not buried under paperwork, under bureaucracy, under a lot of regulation, someone who just put the pressure on in a way that policymakers truly wake up, because it's not about that they don't care and they don't want to, and they see that now it's an emergency. It's about the old ways die hard. It's about new habit formation. It's about that thing that, oh, okay, I need to change today, not next year. And there is the hardest part. So that's why what we are working on doing with the summit and every little thing we do on this weekly events and posts and whatever is to prove, no, it's to pressure, is to bring the right type of pressure into the world. On our meeting today, on our daily meeting today, we had revelations because we shared inside our group a couple of videos that just went on our YouTube site. We opened the climate impact section with videos that are not ours, but that bring facts and what's happening. There are just 4 videos for now, but even if you see the 4 videos, you will have just like a revelation. And we discussed that internally, that there are still many people who don't believe this is a real thing. and that what is happening is not just because the islands are falling, not because of climate change and because the level of oceans are rising. And then Danielle from Colombia says that now studying the majority of Colombian people, a nation of how many millions? Around 40 million people, are not sold for this yet. Now just put this on a scale, on a global scale, because then we realize today that maybe we don't just need to pressure policymakers and decision makers, but we need to open a second liner of wake up people, because the miscommunication and the bad kind of information you were brainwashed for years to come, it's still today present. People still don't know that this is real and urgent. A huge number of the population, and we need to start there. So there are many things to be done, but that's why we are also increasing and we are more and more every day. I would love to hear from other people also part of the community or newcomers who want to join us, and just raise your hand if you want to speak to see how much time we need to spare. And yeah, Cosmin, happy to hear your voice. Welcome.
Hello. So please clarify a little, because I don't understand. Maybe there are information missing from from all this discussion. What are you referring to by global issues, and also what's the link between climate changes, assumed climate changes, and ocean rising? Because I listened to whole conversation, but I assume that you discussed also previous meetings on the same topic, right? And yeah, I missed that.
I am not sure if the question is about you want the real data and facts, right? About the linkage or?
No. I don't understand the information presented here by different members seem to be from the same topic, but they are having gaps in between them. So you're talking about raising oceans, right? And you said that you want to, or yeah, the main idea is to make people see that they are raising, right?
That climate change is an issue. Basically, that's it. There are many people in the world that they don't believe that climate change is an issue, and that this is not the normal way of the Earth evolution. And that is the problem, and that's why many don't act, or they don't believe any kind of action around the climate SDG, the sustainable goal, because they say it's a hoax of people who just want to raise money or do whatever, but it's not their problem and it's not real. And we are doomed anyway.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, Cosmo, I'm very moderate, and I am not an activist and an environmentalist. I am not a climate advocate and so forth. But I do come at it from a very practical type of perspective. And that is that at Tech Leadership Lab, we're not trying to solve climate. We're not trying to solve water shortage. We're not trying to solve poverty, right? We're not trying to solve any of the 17 SDGs ourselves. What we really are trying to do is bring awareness and amplify the work that people are doing in trying to resolve those things. And so right now, what we're talking about is climate action, because that is one of the most critical sustainable development goals in the UN. It also cuts across so many of the different sustainable development goals just because of the impact of climate. So one of the videos that Cristina mentioned was the island is sinking. Well, that has an impact on a whole culture. And then that also goes to something that David Dodd spoke at one of our previous fireside chats. About 1 billion people will be migrating and moving from locations to locations. This is a small example of something like that is happening. And so it is, and that impacts, education, that impacts poverty levels, that impacts social, health. and so forth, right? And so it's just an example. And the reason we picked climate action is because it's such an obvious problem that we're dealing with, but a lot of people still haven't fully accepted the impact of that. And so our goal is really to try to help, not necessarily be on one side or the other, but bring the information and let people take action individually, right? So we want to have a global impact, but in the end, it's an individual that takes an action.
I understand now. So yeah, with all due respect, I don't believe that climate changes are an issue right now for all the poverty and most of the other problems. I believe that non-elected communities that force laws and requirements all over the world are the big problem.
That's wonderful. And I appreciate you telling us that. But now I have a question for you, right?
Go ahead.
Where do you live?
In Romania.
Just say that again.
In Romania.
From here,
In Romania. Okay, perfect. So in Romania, because I'm not trying to convince you on whether climate change is the reason why things are happening. That is information you can come to on your own. But what I would like to know is, do you believe that we have done things because of capitalism or not, or society or not, that has impacted the way the earth is experiencing itself? I guess is the best way to put it. Because, for instance, if you guys remember during the pandemic, when we were all locked in and we couldn't go anywhere, and they started to show videos of how essentially the earth was rebounding without us, right? Like how nature was kind of trying to get its toehold back because humans weren't around doing things. Like we weren't driving cars, we weren't walking the streets, we weren't in restaurants. Do you personally feel, because and this is me being genuinely curious, do you personally feel that humans have any impact, or do you or is it that you think that governments, etc., is the main cause and climate is a factor but not the biggest factor?
I don't believe that all human actions were without consequences, but for example, the CO2 emissions managed to were beneficial to the nature. And I heard that there were parts of the world where before the climate changes, where everyone was angry and yelling that it's global warming and so on, and everything will be a desert because of the pollution and so on. Plants starting expanding on the desert land, not desert land expanding in the other way. And there are also different initiatives that tried. For example, there is one near Dubai where they are bringing seawater and desaline, removing the salt from it through some pipes, because the sun is very strong there, and this water goes in some don't remember the English name, so some constructions that leave light through in order to grow plants. I don't know how it's called in Romanian. It's called Sera. Okay.
Greenhouses.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just love to stop a little bit this, because we are overboard. Maybe someone else wants to talk, but I won't let this go. So what you're saying, Cosmin, it's exactly another alarm sign, in my view and in ours, that we are still at this level, even educated people, we are not at that same agreement about such an important issue. And I've noticed that even when you are going with the conspiracy theory and you want to believe in some certain things, you can go that way. And you can just find a very, very compelling story about anything and make it real.
Can I
Now,
say
if you study,
one more thing, please, if it's okay with you. So I'll give you an example of arrogance for the ones that are claiming that global warming is global climate changes are happening and so on, and that the carbon it's an issue. And these guys from Global Economic Forum who flew more than 100 private jets in the Switzerland city to meet, and also some of them flew from there with the helicopter up to hotel. So they were all preaching that we use cars that do that, use cows that fart too much, and so on. So that for me, it seems like an arrogance, and I think people should open their eyes in that direction until it will be too late for everyone. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So what you're saying is there are some hypocrites out there, and I agree with that. I mean, but you also just pointed out, if there's not an issue with the carbon being, like the exhaust from all the jets and the helicopters, obviously you do feel that does affect things, or you wouldn't be worried about it. And I definitely recommend, and I understand that's what it takes, is communications both ways. And yes, you are correct. If a bunch of people are preaching that is a problem, then they need to be doing what they can to limit that. So yes, I would agree. Maybe they should have showed up in a boat that didn't have that much exhaust, or at least all team up and fly with one jet. I mean, we can't get rid of modern conveniences, but we can limit it. And in other issues, we all have to figure out what can we do to make it less impactful and better. So, definitely, don't want to, but like she said, due to time, a lot of us has got other meetings we got to go to, but would love to. We appreciate you chiming in. It takes courage to say, hey, I don't necessarily totally agree with what's being said. And, it's definitely something that we all need to communicate more with.
Yeah.
There is a European law that wants to limit the amount of kilometers that a person can drive, up to 6,000 and something kilometers per year, and it was already set in Romania, with the plan of up to 2040 or 2035, but the law was already set, and the media is not telling anything about that. So
we can have specific working discussions. This was a presentation specifically to showcase TLL core and the heart and why we are in this mission. So I would love to just create a positive vibe at the ending, if it's possible, Cosmin. And what you're saying is also about the leadership aspect. And sometimes I'm very frustrated. I don't have enough time to say, because this is the way it started. The first messages around Tech Leadership Lab was including tech for good, led by good hearts. It means that the main aspect that we also need to tackle is leadership at the top. And that's why the pressure and everything we want to put on the people, that they are the role models that can guide the entire global aspect. We didn't said today nothing about this, but I said in tons of podcasts before and in materials, maybe we will need to be just like more concrete that yes, we are targeting shift in leadership. I think during the first months, maybe I just repeated every podcast I had the chance, that I truly believe, and it's one of my quotes for many years, that if we would have the right type of leadership, we wouldn't have the SDGs, and that that proper leadership where psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism, and other kind of traits wouldn't be allowed to govern over countries and take decisions over millions, and the same on resources like money, things would change. So that is half of TLL's mission. Now, with the summit and the focus on climate, is the aspect that through this we want to also highlight that this is a real issue, and that CO2 has a direct implication in human-made climate let's say the Celsius that are rising now. And here I was just like spending my last weeks on documentation about this to see who is doing what, and from all of the measurements what we have, that it is something that you can track to industrial age and above, that it's above everything else. But we are not talking data today. So yeah, we agreed about leadership and both. But again, we need to also mobilize population who are many very susceptible. Okay, but if I do something and leadership doesn't do a thing, or is this real, not real? And this is what we are confronting today. So I hope that TLL, together with our growing tribe, we will manage to create the right type of pressure and bring the true factual information to the world in a non-invasive, non-traumatic way, that we can create a better future, or let a better future for the future generations. Better, I don't know how much I truly believe in this, but I think that together with the AI and technology, we can identify ways that maybe will transform our world into a paradise. Why not? This is a goal worth fighting for. Yeah. Who wants to say some last things around about the community, or about yeah?
Yeah, no, I think that the beauty of humanity is that there's so many perspectives. And one of the things I like about our core pillars, technology, community, and humanity, is that we have the ability to have objective conversations where we just use facts, figures, information. And then we also have the human and community element where we can have subjective conversations where it is more about how one personally feels or believes. And you have to have all sides of that conversation to be able to have good collaboration. And I think that in the end, a good community has good collaboration. So thank you.
Yeah. And with that said, I hope that you will stay with us, stay alongside us, and help us promote the summit. Bring the right type of leaders and awesome people who are concerned about the future of our kids close to TLL. Get active, get involved, promote our summit, because it's basically our first signature product that will basically have a product. I repeat it basically. Okay, I'm emotional. So the product, meaning consensus document. That's something we are very, very excited about in TLL, because it will be a document that wants to be a white paper, but we call it consensus because Carlos educated me about the true meaning of the word consensus. You need to let go of something for the better good, for the global good. And that is the best sounding word for us. And inside that consensus document, we want to have actionable factual data identified through the summit. And then once it's in a final form, to bring it in front of all decision makers and put the pressure on to do those things in an accountable way. So it's pretty an important mission, I would say, for such an entity as ours, so young and all volunteers. And so come and help us if you resonate with our goal, mission, and hearts. Yeah, for sure. And with that said, have a wonderful week and see you on the other side. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.